We're going to give you guys some time to get into the room, but welcome, welcome, welcome.
1,000 welcomes.
Live chat. All messages are visible. Great.
And
hi, Jessica.
Yes, Jessica's here. Joy's here. Hot Cocoa Bang Bang's here. And Pelagia's here. Collegia. Kahindy. Yes.
If I lived in LA, we would be friends, y'all.
Yeah.
Aw, Jessica.
Yeah. I feel that intrinsically. Jonesy, Nina, Charlotta.
35 people in this room. Get those likes, you guys. 38 people.
Yeah, welcome. If you just pop in the room, give it a like right away so you don't have to think about it. Just thumbs it up, and then get into it.
Isabel. Hey, girl. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Maxie, Sassy, John, Jackie, Charlotta.
I love that name so
Charlotta.
much. Oh.
You know what name I love?
What?
Deborah, but Deborah. I love it when it's like Deborah.
Yeah, but then how do you always talk about it to everyone?
I mean, I guess, but I like the classical way of pronouncing it.
Yeah, but everyone's going to be like Deborah, and you'd be like, it's Deborah, and then you're going to have literally half people's faces be like this.
I didn't say I would name my child Deborah. I just said I like it.
It's kind of a little bit like people who are like, oh, my name's not Lauren. It's Loren.
No, I didn't know anybody that had that.
Okay,
so sorry to start this off with a mini spat. That's not how I wanted to start this. All right, you guys. So I want to thank you guys so much for coming to my chat today. We are going to be discussing why I am single and why I consider myself a super single and what that means to me. Debbie. I do love that name. I feel like it's like a queen's name.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Everyone's in here watching from Australia. Oh my God, Lily. Thank you.
Rotterdam we have, Switzerland, Texas, London. Ladies who London, Canada, New York.
Speaking of London, Chris and I will be in London and we will be having a meetup on February the 13th. We don't know where. We are staying in by the Liverpool stops on the train. And so we are going to try to look for some places to hang out in, maybe Shoreditch or Hoxton or somewhere around there. If you have suggestions for that area, please let us know. Okay, so it is 10:02. We're just going to give people a couple of more minutes to trickle in. We've got 60 people in the room right now. But let's just kind of talk a little bit about what I want to discuss today before everybody gets here. So I don't know if you guys watch Married at First Sight. If you don't, here's a little bit of a rundown. Married at First Sight is a reality show on Lifetime where they have 3 experts who audition and interview singles who come to these auditions because they are prepared to be married at first sight. They want the experts to hook them up with someone based on the criteria that they state they want and based on what the experts believe will be beneficial for them in a partner. And they don't know who that person is until they get married, until literally at the altar. And they set up the whole wedding and everything without knowing who their intended is. And so I find this to be very interesting of a concept because it has been very hard for me to find someone to be in a relationship. It's been when I say super single, I mean somebody who's never been in a serious committed relationship. So that is why I say that. And it's hard to say it, honestly, because people are so judgmental when it comes to that. And that's why I wanted to have this chat with you, because I listened to some podcasts talking about Married at First Sight. I read your guys' comments on the videos, and there are some things that I think people who have never experienced being super single or have had a hard time dating, they say things that they think are blanket statements that are fine, but it's kind of judgy and hurtful, because I don't consider myself, I did say Liverpool. What did I say? I didn't say Liverpool. Anyways, because I don't consider myself to be someone who something is wrong with me. Right. But anyways, so that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to try to stay on task focused. So I'm not really going to be looking at the comment section, but Chris will be looking and she will be commenting, typing back to you with comments.
Have you ever listened to Nicole Byers' a hilarious podcast, Why Won't You Date Me? She talks about why she's single in a hilarious way.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Oh, yeah, you should. She's a UCB comedian. Well, she's a comedian.
No, I know who Nicole Byers is. I just didn't know she had a podcast.
Yeah, she literally has some guests on, and then it always ends in like, why won't you date me? And usually because she's like so famous, like, I would. And that's funny, but yeah.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Hey, Wah. Hey, Chris. I made it. Hi, Mona. There's so many people here from like Belgium, South Africa.
Mona's from Germany.
I mean, yeah, Mona's from Germany. I'm just like, you guys are really representing hard.
How do you spell her name? Nicole.
And so obviously Nicole's normal, and then B-Y-E-R.
Oh. I want you with dating. Okay. I'm going to follow this. Ooh, with Trixie Mattel. Okay.
She's going to get into that podcast.
Subscribe.
Great comment.
Okay. Thank you so much, whoever said that. Let's see. We're at 10 minutes and 96 people in this room. 100 people in this room. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you can go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, that would be super, super helpful. I see a lot of people in the chat room saying you should go ahead and just stay single. You know what? I'm at the point and the age in my life where I'm not as pressed about it, but I still do get upset about it. Like, and in my 20s, I feel like every tear that I cried was because of being single and feeling like nobody wanted me. And like, I mean, I have a lot of other like things happen in my past and relationships with people in my life that have been very hard and devastating. And at a certain point, you start to feel, and this is, I think, the insidious thing about this whole thing for me, is that I start to feel unlovable and like worthless. Regardless of what everyone else is telling me, there is such an idea that you are unlovable because nobody wants to be in a serious relationship with me. Joy says, oh, I thought you were dating. I am dating. I'm saying being in a serious committed relationship. Like I've dated guys and I've rejected guys, but I've been rejected as well. And I feel like I have a very specific threshold when it comes to guys that I'm dating that they must meet in order for me to be okay with dating them, simply because I can't be with somebody who is going to A, hold me back, and B, boring, right? Like when I say hold me back is that I have very specific, no, maybe not specific. I have general plans.
Sassy Cat says, actually, most people should be more selective or judgmental when choosing a person to share and entwine their lives with. Applause, Law.
Right. And I think that's great. Thank you so much, Sassy Cat. I think that the issue is that you're right, like in theory, but in practicality, people are very judgy when you tell them you've never been in a relationship. Or even if you don't. I've had a coworker say, not knowing my relationship status, I've had a coworker say, and he's a guy, he's like, if someone has been single for more than 3 years, something is wrong with them. Like really, something is absolutely wrong with them. That's not normal. That's not right, or something like that. And I, until then, had really no concept of how much people put clout on whether or not you're in a relationship. Like if you tell someone that you're single and you've never had a boyfriend, like I've said that to people, I'm like, oh, I've never had a boyfriend. And they're like, what? Like, well, why? And then they want to figure it out. And they're like, well, maybe you need to go to therapy. And like, and it's like becomes this topic of conversation where people are really concerned and want to figure out why that is. And I get them, but I think you have to understand that there's a spectrum to everything in life. There is a pendulum swing to everything in life. And there are those people who have never not been in a relationship. There are people who swing from relationship to relationship to relationship. Or there are those people who met their person when they were 16 and stayed together all throughout whatever and then married them, or met that person when they were in college and stayed together. And those are just one extreme version of how relationship goes. And I think I'm just on the other end of the spectrum, or the other swing of the pendulum. And I just am somebody who can't lock it down. Okay, that's the negative in me speaking. But like, I'm just somebody who, it's just very, I mean, I can't even tell you. I've gone out on dates, and I mean, we also live in a society where it's like ghosting culture is the thing to do. So maybe it would be easier for me if I could have someone be like, hey, you know, you're a little too intense, or I don't feel like I'd be able to keep up with you, or something like that, where I could get constructive feedback. But that is not something that happens at all. I have been in love. Was in love one time in my life, and it was a long saga. And it was just because I don't think I had enough female, like older women in my life enough to tell me the signs of when someone actually doesn't love you. I was just going off of like what the movie said and like, you know, sticking with it and trying to love this person who was never shy about the fact that he wasn't into me. Like, I mean, sorry, he was into me, but never wanted to be in an actual relationship with me. And I didn't know that there is a difference. I thought that he would eventually come around and love me back. And when I was brave enough to have a conversation with him, he said that he loved me, but he didn't love me. And so I was just like, I don't understand. What? And I'm still talk to this person to this day. I mean, we took a 10-year gap because, girl, I couldn't, my spirit, I had to move away, you know, but like talking now about it, I'm just like, oh my God, I dodged a fucking bullet. He's like, fuck boy extraordinaire. But I still love him. You know, I still have space for him in my heart because I do think that he's worthy of my love. I just think that he, in general, is kind of a dick. So like, like he just doesn't know himself well enough, or he's not that nice to women. And I told him it's because he doesn't respect women, and he was looking at me blankly. So I feel like that's a conversation for another day. But anyway, so there's that.
Yeah. No, I think that, you know, this is something I was saying to Wall last night. We often repeat the cycle of relationships and that we had set up in the course of our lives with our parents. You know, as our parents parented a young child and made some choices, and some of those choices might have been mistakes. For everyone, they're different. That impacts you, and you sort of replay that either with your maternal or, you know, fraternal figure in your relationships, and kind of they jump back and forth. So if you feel unworthy or something, and you know, that can affect you in how you approach relationships now. Now, having said that, it just plays out differently in everyone's mind, you know, like some people like fear abandonment so hard that they monkey from relationship to relationship so they don't feel alone. Some people get a feeling of like independence, and they don't want to lose that independence by being in a relationship. Some people, like, we could say I wasn't in a lot of like hardcore committed relationships in my 20s with straight men, although I consider myself a cisgender straight woman, but I really had a lot of codependent relationships with females.
Yeah.
Like that's, so what's, you know, it's almost like I dated my best friends and they were like all my whole lives. And then I just like kind of hooked up on the side with dudes in my 20s, you know, like a couple of months. And also that was also the culture of guys in LA. There wasn't anyone like trying to put a ring on it, you know, like, and I definitely wasn't in a space where I wanted to have a ring on it. I just wanted to like go out and have fun and meet people.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that it is geographical. Can you move over a little bit? Sometimes you're going out of frame. I definitely think that it depends also on where your dating pool is. Don't get me wrong. There are people who jump from relationship to relationship or never have an issue finding a relationship in LA. But I think that when you are in an area where people are a little bit more ambitious and want their career and or have so much distraction by stuff around them, that settling down and finding somebody to marry is like on the back end. And I'm not talking about having kids with somebody, because I don't know, like in my culture, having a baby is independent of being in a relationship. So those two things don't go hand in hand. But if you are from an area or a culture where those two things go hand in hand, then you are more likely to find somebody who is like-minded in that fashion to be able to get together with them. So there are some people who say, oh, you know, I have a friend who's in a terrible relationship and they have been in that terrible relationship for 10 years and haven't gotten out of it. So you're lucky. And there are people who say, oh, well, people I know have been divorced twice by the time you're your age. So you're lucky. And I'm like, no, it's not that I'm lucky. I think that I see the benefits of being single and understanding myself completely at this moment. I see the benefit of not getting married at 22, of not doing that, because for me, And I'm talking about anybody else out there. But for me, had I been in a relationship at 22 with someone who wasn't ambitious, or somebody who didn't want to get that money, or someone who wasn't looking towards lineage and having generational wealth for our next generation, then I would have been in a marriage with somebody and been kind of like going about the normal path. But honestly, now that I'm as old as I am, I want somebody who wants to build wealth for our children and our grandchildren. That is the kind of man I want. And sometimes that is hard to find, specifically within my culture / race, but it isn't impossible. It's just that you have to kind of weed through all of the humdrumness and the nonsense before you get to what you want. Now, if you're not thinking about the next generation, or you're not thinking about, finances or generational wealth, then by all means, make whatever decisions and do whatever you want. Like, there's no judgment on that. But for me, it's something that I've always dreamed about. And I think it's because I'm the daughter of an immigrant that I feel like my dad took the first step to get out of his country and come here for that American dream. And my dad is so comfortable in his life because he's like, I fucking made it out. Like, I have a house. I have I've always had my parents have always had a mortgage. They've always had the 2 cars. I mean, we've never been rich.
You guys went to college?
Yeah. We've never been rich, but my dad's already done the thing. My mom is the one who's still like, oh, I would like to travel around the world. And my dad's like, okay, get that money then and travel. My mom's the one who worked a second job. Sorry, there's like a truck going by right now. My mom is the one who worked a second job so that she can get the dining room set that she wanted. And my dad was just like, work hard, hun. Like, he's like, I already made it. But he always instilled in us a sense of what's next? What can I build on next? And so what did Mabel say?
Yeah, I just read it. Okay, wait, remove. Or I don't know.
What are you trying to do? What does it say?
Okay, it says.
Sorry, just pause. We're trying to see what Mabel said. You would only be setting your children up for failure if you have babies with colored people. Oh, you just put them on a timeout. Hide user on channel. Hide user on channel. Okay. Hide user on channel. There we go. That was really hard for Chris just now.
Okay, you know why? Because there's a button that comes up that goes remove. So if I had pushed remove, what happens? It's just the comment that gets removed,
I guess,
or the person. That's why I was like, "Would you want me to push remove?" And
no, I was saying hide person on channel. She's like, I'm like hide, and she's like remove. I'm like hide.
I know, because I really wanted to push remove. It seemed like I should just, instead of hiding this person, just remove the person,
So also there's the thing, thank you, Kathy, for saying this about babies. There's also that fact. So as much as I'm soul searching and excited about the fact that I know myself and I'd feel confident going into a relationship and being self-aware, having babies is a whole other thing. Like, am I going to have to freeze my eggs? I don't have money for that.
I don't have to freeze my eggs.
I don't have money for that. Did you do research? Do you know how much that costs?
Yeah. Is someone moving in?
People moving in? Oh God, this is the worst time.
Yeah, I am gonna freeze my eggs. And I just want to talk about that for a second, because here's the thing. I'm gonna talk about this for a second. I know that I have, first of all, a privilege and the luxury that I would even have the option to do so. Okay, and I can't, of economic means as well as time means, in the sense of that we live in 2019 and have the technology to do so. Now, having said that, I've done some research. Freezing just the egg as opposed to freezing an embryo doesn't have the success rate that freezing an embryo does. But I have, no one in my life that I'm going to choose as the father of my child right now, children. So I want to freeze my eggs so that I can just have a little insurance and be able to date without the pressure looming of like some sort of ticking time frame. I really want to have kids in my life. It's just, I come from a culture where family is really important, and I have a huge outer family, and then I have like the things that I want to remedy in my life, which is I'm an only child and I come from divorced parents, and so I sort of like lacked that, family dynamic in my home of like a mother and a father and more than one kid that I cannot wait to remedy in my life. So I would say that one whole thing is that my life hasn't happened in the sequence and order I thought it was going to, that was told to me it was. Like, I thought that I was going to be living in a home by a certain age and married by a certain age, because that's like what was presented to me through media and my parents' generation. But it was a huge wake-up call for me to just keep having birthdays and realizing that, like, it's a different world out there, honey, for you. And I think that the comparative mind has to, like, stop comparing yourself to whatever level you think you're supposed to be at or where you thought you were going to be. And, you know, be happy in the present moment, and as if you chose it, as if we chose to be exactly where we are right now. Now, having said that, there are beautiful things to our lives that unfortunately we wouldn't be able to have if we had a full-on family and all the responsibilities. Obviously, we both do YouTube and all the TV we watch and the recaps and stuff like that, traveling to London or, you know, going to Vegas, a lot of those things, you know, not so much happening with all the kids and stuff like that. Yeah. So we understand that. And I think that we're all on a journey, and there's a reason why, and people come into our lives and, you know, I think that we've done a really good job by not settling and by not getting ourselves in a situation that would lock us down that we didn't fully approve of. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I'm really happy that I didn't, like, get pregnant by somebody who, because I haven't met anybody. I mean, just because of my, like, past, how am I saying it? How did you approach, like, because of my, like, familial situation, and I didn't have the same situation as Chris. Like, my parents aren't divorced. They've been married for X amount of years. My parents have been married longer than they were alive by themselves. Like, my mom was 23 and my dad was 27. And I, last year, had a conversation with my dad about this, because my dad, I think, thinks I'm gay. 1, 2, and I love it. It makes me so happy that secretly he thinks I'm gay, because I have never brought anybody home, and I'm constantly arguing for LGBTQ rights. Like, whenever any social issue comes up,
watching on the RuPaul's Drag Race,
yeah, whenever anything comes up, I'm like, you have to vote yes or no or whatever. And he was like, one day I was so mad at him because I thought he was gonna, like, vote wrong, and he's like, Wahima, I think people should be able to do whatever the hell they want to do, okay? And I was like, thank you. Yeah. Like, you know, and then he's like, do you have something to tell me? And I was like, what? And I had no idea what he was talking about. And then he's like, do you have something to tell me? And I was like, oh, are you asking me if I'm gay? And he was like, no, I'm just asking if you have something to tell me. And I was like, no. But, you know, for me, it really makes me happy to know that my dad wouldn't be crazy if, like, he would still love me if I were to be gay. And so it's just because I haven't brought anybody home, and I haven't brought anybody home because there hasn't been anybody worth bringing home. I'm also a really private person just because of my socializing and my upbringing within my household. But I lost my train of thought. But yeah, like, I just appreciate the fact that I appreciate the fact that my dad is concerned about me not being in a relationship. I heard him on the phone yesterday, because I live with my parents. I lived in New York City for 6 years. I lived in LA for 2 years. And I moved back home because I wasn't at a place financially where I could help them with things and still live by myself. So, and that has always been my goal. And my brother actually stayed home until he was about 30 so that he could help. And then it was time for him to move out and live with his girlfriend. And I moved in. And so we kind of swapped. We lived together in the house for like 2 months together. And he was like, all right, I'm good. You're good? And I'm like, I'm good. He's like, all right, I'm out. And he left. And it's not that my parents need help. My parents don't need help. They've been paying their own mortgage and bills my whole entire life. But it's just that we feel like we want to be able to give back to them. And we feel bad that we can't give back to them in a way currently that we feel like we should be able to. And so the way I help my parents is by living there. I'm also helping myself by being able to do YouTube part-time and, you know, not have to worry about all the bills, you know, and whatever. But I still am like, I got to help them with home improvements and stuff like that. And it's also cultural, right? Like, my mom's American, but my dad is not. And in my dad's culture, like, my aunts and uncles, when they all lived together for a long time in LA before they all got before they all got their own homes. So I've always, and my grandmother has always lived, when she was alive, she always lived with one of her kids. So for me, it doesn't feel wrong. And I know to some people it does. Like I've had people try to call me out and tell me I'm a loser because I live at home, and I'm like, you don't know my life, but it's just fine.
What culture is your family from?
My dad is Belizean. He's Garifuna. The Garifuna people are in Guatemala, Belize, and Honduras. So we don't have a country. But yeah, so we're just like, so I guess from most people's perspective, it would be considered like Caribbean-like, but it's Central American. So yeah, so anyways, that's what that is. And so my brother moved out, I moved in, and I've been helping my parents ever since. And so why is this person saying Caucasian? Why are we talking about race?
I think she meant Caucasian. My dad is Italian and very dark.
I think
they're talking within themselves.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, so yeah, like
what's with the noise? Okay, right now we have no idea, but there's been
people are moving.
People are moving, or
yeah, that's what's happening. Sorry, I'm sweating. Okay, so I lost my train of thought, but anyways.
Okay. Our parents were Haitian. It is the same thing.
Oh yeah, I know a Haitian girl who lives with her parents too, and she's and it's just
my friends think
it's absolutely what it is. Like, you know.
Oh, Joy's Ghanaian.
Ghanaian?
Sorry, yes.
From
Ghana.
Yeah, Ghanaian. Yeah. So anyways, it's kind of cultural, but I did go out and live on my own, and my dad was very distraught the whole time I was in New York City. He literally, I would call him at like 2 a.m. or I'd call him at whatever time.
Lugai just came in. Hi, Lugai.
Hey, Lugai. I would call, my dad or whatever, and I would say, hey, I'm good. And he's like, what time is it? Like, he was very nervous when I lived in New York City. For 6 years, this man was on edge. And now that I live there, he's like excited. And I heard him on the phone going back, talking to a friend, and he was like, Wahima, she told me she not go nowhere. She'll stay here. I tell her she don't need no man. And I'm like, oh, my dad is literally telling all his friends that I'm just don't need a man and I'm living at home.
Yeah,
like,
she has a man. It's her dad.
Don't tell her.
Why do you speak Spanish? No, she doesn't.
No, I don't speak Spanish. I would love to. I think I'm at a disadvantage because I don't. I speak the bare minimum. If I were to be like dropped off in a Spanish-speaking country, I wouldn't be scared because I think I would be able to eke out what's going on, but it would be harder for me to communicate than for me. I understand more than I can say.
One person is in Guam, and a large majority of Pacific Islanders live with parents.
Yeah,
and that's
the same thing in Guam.
Yeah, a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. I know
Chris
somebody.
I'm Lebanese, Syrian Lebanese, but I mean, I was born in LA and stuff like that. But that's my culture, I guess.
Yeah. So like that is something that's cultural. I know we're kind of getting off of Married at First Sight, but that's something that's cultural within me, and like that I just I'm okay with it. Sometimes I meet guys who are like, "Oh, you live at home," and I'm like, if that's a problem for you, like, buzz off, like. It's not a, but I think the thought is if a guy were to live at home, he would have to explain to me why he's living at home. Like, I know a guy who's living at home just because he has, what is that, launchpad syndrome? Take flight.
Failure to launch.
Yeah, he's failure to launch. He's never lived with anybody else in his life. He's content because he has like a suite. What is it? What you said, in suite? He has his own entrance to his bedroom, and one of his bedroom is one of the master bedrooms of a home. And so like he's just like, I don't pay rent, like, and I'm like, to me, like, you'd be cool to like have fun with, but like I need to know what's your savings like. That's my thing. So if a guy who lives at home doesn't have 10K in savings, like, who doesn't have to pay anything and doesn't have to do anything, obviously if you're not paying your parents for anything, then either they've been like, no, save your money, or you don't have to because they're doing well. And like, are you prepared to move out? Because if you live at home, you should be prepared to move out at any moment because you haven't been paying bills. So you should be saving, especially at my age, Yeah,
I dated a man that lived with his parents, and I scraped everything I could to get him out. I didn't help him get out, but like I made him get out. And then the minute I broke up with him, he just moved right back in. So that's just that. I want to say, one person brought up, aren't you guys both from cultures that their parents would typically pressure you to get married? And both of our dads aren't pressuring us to get married, which is I think it's just an interesting. Yeah, I mean, in theory, yes. At least I don't know about a group. Just tell us about it. In theory, yes. Yeah. Being an Arab culture, like you would think that they're like, "Oh, you're not married and want kids." Like all of that is very much true. And if you like talk to women in my family, like aunts and stuff like that, they definitely want me to get married. And if like my grandmother was still alive, oh my God, she'd be so pissed that I wasn't married. Okay, but my dad, I think because I live with him and because of the nature of our relationship, like. He wants me to get married at some point because I think he wants grandkids, but like he definitely isn't like wondering why it hasn't happened yet and like looking at every guy being like him. He's more like, ugh, always, I get it. My dad's more like, I get why you're single. This generation of men is beneath you. Is how I would say my dad's, because my dad is an old school, traditional, masculine, old school male. You know what I'm saying? He's Arab. And so like when he sees all the tight jeans in my generation and stuff like that, he's like, oh, my daughter's just, yeah, my daughter's going to marry one of those Metro bi guys. You know what I'm saying?
I also think like your dad's a businessman, so he's in a different like realm of thought when it comes to that kind of like, I think businessmen in general are more go-getters, right? So when they're looking around and they don't see that many go-getters in the next generation coming up behind him, then I think they have a pulse for like where this generation is when it comes to that. And also, speaking of generation, let's talk about the fact that like being married isn't what it used to be. And people don't feel the pressure to get married and do all these things anymore. Because honestly, I think that while people got married very quickly in our parents' generation, there was a lot of infidelity, I'm sure, as there is a lot of infidelity now. I think that people continue to grow in their marriages, and sometimes that growth doesn't include their partner. And if they're not good at communicating, then those growth, you can grow apart, you can end up getting divorced. There's a lot that goes on. So it's not so much like, oh, our parents' generation were better at it than we are. Our parents' generation just don't think had the expectations that we had. And mainly because of social media and the internet and television, you can see what other people are doing on a scale that you would have never been able to see what other people are doing. And so it's like you do see both sides of the story. You see people who are happy and stay together, and you see people who are not happy and divorce. But like, I think my parents' generation was cut off from seeing all of that. They just had to live their own lives and hope that they were keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak. But now you can see what the Joneses are doing intimately, And so, what's happening on your face? I'm like, look here, because you.
Because I want to talk about things that people are saying, which is Miss Always Blessed. I am single. I own my own home, and I have a great career, and I manage my finances well. I would like to meet someone who is at least similar to me to start off with, not still living at home. Yes. And then we got a super chat.
Thanks, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline Wingfield. Okay.
My super chat board.
We can, so I can finish.
Calm down.
Okay. So yes, girl, you are killing it. And so what happens is you're just like, yeah, I just want to meet someone who's doing it with me. So I'm not like saving a man. I'm just getting an equal. We're going to build a life together. And I find that, God bless, like, I have an issue finding guys that are doing that kind of like building stuff at the same time that are open to me, I think.
But I have a question. What if he has savings?
I've yet to meet a guy that has savings.
No, to the lady who said it. What if the guy has savings and is just living at home, but would be able to leave? And like has everything, just has chosen to stay with mom or dad.
She owns a house, so it's like, No,
I'm asking her. I don't know who it was, so you can tell me when she responds.
Greatest dad ever. Okay. All
right. So I just want to tell you guys what I'm doing right now. So we have like a super chat, super star board. Anytime we get a super chat, I'm gonna write your name down on one of these and put it on the board behind us, so your name is on the board. You're not gonna really be able to see it, but still, I know it's happening. Who was it that did it? Chris, can you tell me who the person was?
Yes, it was Jacqueline Wingfield.
Okay.
What a beautiful name.
Jaqueline. I want to spell it right.
JACQUELYN.
Wingfield. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I'm going to put hearts next to your name.
John Smith. Am a black man with a house. All I hear is, well, here, I love you. Is what about the money? It's hard to date. Wait. All I hear is what about the money? It's hard for men to date woman these days because they're looking at the money and it's scary and they say you live here. Okay.
Well, the thing is though, women have always been looking for the money. So I don't understand what that means. Like your mother's generation was looking for the money too, because no woman wants to be in a situation, I don't think, where they can't depend on their husband. Now, I'm not saying that their husband needs to do everything, but I mean, like, I think that is what that is, kind of. Oh, G Black. Yay.
Oh, G Black, thank you. Yeah, I mean, oh, there it is. It just like came up on my light. You guys.
Go ahead and answer him. Chris? Okay, never mind.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong, sir. I'm not saying that your feelings are wrong, but maybe you're just looking for the wrong types of women, honestly. Like when guys talk about girls being gold diggers, I always think that it's the guys who don't have money or gold who are worried about people being gold diggers. I mean, what does have money mean to you?
I'll tell you what gold diggers mean to me. I'll tell you. Men who say that like they don't want a gold digger usually are men that want to date above their league. And so what they're saying is, I like to pick a woman based on looks, but I don't want her to pick me based on my finances. But we have no problem picking women based on their looks. In fact, I am sitting at about a 3.5, but women I find attractive are ones with hot bodies and hot faces. They usually are around 8.5s. Oh my God, the 8.5 won't date me because it must be because I don't have enough money, because that woman just wants to be around rich men. And it's like, no, because you think women want gold. You want a hot ass woman that is too hot for you. That is, in fact, out of your league. That is every time someone brings this up, I'm just like, okay, well then why don't you find a nice, very nice, beautiful woman that is in your league who will be happy with you. Stop trying to date out of your league and then you won't have that problem. Oh my God, Jacqueline. Oops, there should have been 10. Here's the rest.
Ah, Jacqueline, thank you so much. Your name is on the board. I'm going to get a better board when I do this, but this is a small idea that I thought of. Because I just want people to feel appreciated when they do give things. And I really loved your assessment of gold diggers and that thing. Because I think the same thing too. Like, you know, I need specifics when you say it's all about the money. Is it that you don't want to be the majority breadwinner?
Yeah.
And that's fine if that's not what you want.
Is it because you're cheap?
See, I don't want to be negative about it. I don't want you to feel like we're attacking you. That might not be you, what she just said. Come in the frame more. But like,
I was backing away from my opinion.
Come this way. Move your whole body.
Okay. It kind of feels like I'm literally just like.
On me?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think that those two lines get crossed. Like I think that guys don't think about the fact that it's not necessarily that we want or that women want you to pay all the bills. We just want to know that there's some kind of security and you are good with money and saving, especially, hold on, if you want to have children. Like you never know what can happen. And like, if I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody, I'm not about being poor with somebody. Like if our joint thing needs to take us out of poverty. If our jointness doesn't take us out of poverty or make it so that at least we're living comfortable or make it so that at least if one of us loses our job, we'll be able to keep our home, then it's not something that's going to be good. I want somebody who's financially fit, you know, who has some kind of job security and some kind of understanding that this is not the 70s. Like, I think sometimes people think about times as though like it's back in the day and like all you need to do is just like, I don't know, hunker down together. You can lose everything based on that kind of stuff.
I just want to say Jacqueline wants a song. Oh,
okay. Okay, Jacqueline, you can get a song. Definitely not a gold digger. What? Wow, life happens. You never know.
So
did I not? Isn't that what I was saying? That you don't know, so that's why.
But just sing a song for Jacqueline.
Okay, sorry. Did she say that?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Oh,
okay.
Jacqueline,
what do we need? I need to know a little more about
this. I didn't think about.
Okay, Jacqueline. Okay, I know because it's in the morning time. But Jacqueline. What do we know about Jacqueline?
What do we know about her? Wingfield, calm down. What happened to Jacqueline?
No, she's
talking to somebody else.
Yeah. Okay. Wait.
Let's do it. What's the theme, Jacqueline? Jacqueline, give us a theme.
Yeah, can you give us like
this? We did not think about this. I forgot about the song part of it. What is an R&B? Ooh, Jacqueline. Jacqueline,
your voice rings through the trees.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
ooh.
Jacqueline. darling, you bring us to our knees. Jacqueline, with your 2 super chats, you're so generous. Jacqueline.
Thank you. Okay.
She's like, what is the song over?
I know. Okay, so Melinda says financial literacy is very important indeed. Yeah, I think it is, you know. I definitely think it is. So that's it. Like I said, ooh, 257 people in this room. Hello, you guys. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. It helps people.
Thumbs it up. Thumbs it up.
Thumbs it up. Yeah. Okay.
Oh God, it's like, by the way,
you're here.
It's hot in here, and I'm like, you know, I'm singing for you. It's very early in the morning, and have I warmed up my vocal cords? Not nearly enough. You know, like if you haven't noticed, I've been wearing makeup.
Okay.
I'm sure you
do you
have
think
noticed.
Energy plays a part in who you attract?
I've been
thinking that a lot lately, and I'm honestly confused. You know, somebody once told me that, and it hurt my feelings because I was like, what do you mean? There are shitty people running around this world thinking mean things and thinking about hurting people, and you're not you, girl. And this was a friend of mine. It was Brittany. And you're gonna tell me that is my energy? Like, what? Like, she says, girls, please block pre-Porat. He's saying things in Russian that are rude.
Why is okay.
So yeah, anyways, and I guess I could agree with you, Miss Pearl. I would love so much to hear more personalized stories and insights from you two, my favorite YouTubers. Thank you so much, Miss Pearl. That's why I'm here. I just wanted to have this conversation. Oh, it's been 41 minutes, girl. I hope we've been like clear and consistent with our conversation. All right, thank you so much, Miss Pearl. Let's put you up on the board.
I can't find Proput or whatever.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Let's go and put Miss Pearl. Mrs. Pearl, hey, Mrs. Pearl, yeah, a lovely girl. Hey, Mrs. Pearl, hey, thanks for the super chat, Mrs. Pearl. We appreciate you.
That, okay.
Mrs. Pearl, dee-dee-dee-dee. Hey, Mrs. Pearl. Love it.
You are a great girl.
Hey, Mrs. Pearl.
Mrs. Pearl.
Oh, it's Miss Pearl. Sorry.
Miss, we don't know if you're single or married because you've picked the prefix Ms. We appreciate that. This is like a beatnik. We support that. Don't put a label where you don't need one, Mrs. Pearl.
Okay. So,
Mrs. Pearl. Okay. And we're back. So thank you so much to all of our super chatters and putting up with us. And we really, you know.
No problem, lover of music. You're fine, girl. So I don't know if it's a girl or not. I call everybody girl. Anyways, so yeah, so that's just, I don't know if I got sidetracked from what I was originally saying. But yeah, so, the energy. Yeah, I just worry. I just think that you're right. But I also don't necessarily think that is everything that goes into it. I mean, like I said, I don't know if I said this. I've rejected just as much as I've been rejected. I've rejected others just as much as others have rejected me. The issue is that I don't ghost. And I think that's the most hurtful thing about dating is ghosting. And that whole trend of like just not responding to somebody. I mean, I've had situations where I've gone on like really great dates and I thought everything was going well. And we've had lots of communication. And all of a sudden it's just like no communication.
Yeah.
And it took me like a couple of times to recognize that was because they were ghosting me. Yeah. And like, so then you feel stupid for texting them 3 more times, wondering if they're okay. And they're literally just ignoring your texts.
I have a question. What's your opinion on sharing costs, house bills, dinners out, in a heterosexual relationship where a man makes more than the woman, take into account gender wage gap, do a 60-40 split, etc.? Love you too.
Okay, so I think that if you guys are making, it doesn't matter how much who's making, right? Well, it does a little bit. And I hate to say this just because of the way society has set me and most women and most people to think of things. Lugai!
Oh,
let me finish this thought, Lugai, and we'll shout you out. Thank you so much for the super chat. I think that it does feel a little weird when a woman makes more. Siobhan, give us a second. I do think, but take note of hers because she has an actual question, Siobhan. So I do think that, oh, what is ghosting? Great. I do think that because when the tables turn a little bit, we tend to like feel some kind of way when a woman makes more. But this is what I think. I think you should have a joint account, right? And you should put in whatever amount that you think is fair based on your salary to put into this joint account, and bills should be paid from there. But I think you should have separate accounts so that you can buy each other gifts, or you can, you know, just live your life and buy things that you want. But if you have kids, that joint account is also helpful as well, because then you can buy for diapers and anything that the child might need out of that joint account. So if the man is making a little bit more, maybe he should put a little bit more in, but maybe the wife needs to save. Like maybe she saves a little bit more than what she would normally keep in her kitty, right? I think both people need to be saving, right? Both people need to have plans for their future and each other's future. So I just think that you could make it work, especially if the woman makes more. I wouldn't mind making more than my husband. In fact, I've always envisioned myself making more than whoever my partner is, if I have a partner. But as long as they also did their fair share of the housework, right? Because I naturally am a cleaner, just because I was forced to do it so much as a child that I can't be in my own mess without someone else there. If I'm by myself, I can be in my own mess. But like, oh, thank you so much, Mary.
We have like 3 super chats. Okay. So we have 3 super chats, so we don't want to get behind. So ghosting, Lugai, just so you know, is when you are in the beginning stages of dating someone. Maybe you like have texted and you've talked a little bit and you've gone on a date. You've definitely met. You've gone on a date and it felt good, you know?
Basically, ghosting is when the person just doesn't respond to you and they just disappear. That was a long-winded explanation. Lugai!
Because she gave us enough money. Okay, God bless. So, Lugai's song. We would be like, what is your favorite kind of music?
Gotta move on. We're behind. Lugai! Lulu! Lulu Guy, we want to thank you. Lulu Guy for the super chat. I'm off key for the super chat. Lugai. Lulu Guy, we want to thank you.
Thank you.
Lulu Guy. That's it.
She is okay.
Next.
Siobhan Stacia, who said, I'm a widow. My fiance was murdered 2 years ago. I was in a Meghan, Michael, Sarah situation. I'm so burned. I don't want to date. Well, yeah.
I think you have a valid point.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Like,
I don't have any advice to give or anything. That's horrible, and I'm really sorry
so
for your experience.
I think that in that kind of situation, you're going to have to, like, relearn to trust people, and you might have to have, like, you know, just you know, you got in a situation where people disrespected you and treated you horribly, and you get a scar, and it's hard to, like, reopen your heart. So I'm hoping that by putting yourself out there and gaining a little more, like, confidence and self-identity within yourself, you'll fill up the part that was taken away from you, and then you can, with an open heart and mind, reinvite someone in your life again. But take as much time as you want. So Siobhan Stacia, oh girl, you've been burned. Oh girl, it's been hard. But if you remember to not put your heart on guard, you will find a light at the end of the fight. Just remember to have your loved ones around. Okay, we saw one other person, which is Mary Blooms.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Mary gave us a beautiful super chat of $4.99. That is so lovely. Mary blooms. What kind of song?
Mary blooms in the spring. Mary blooms in the springtime. We want to thank you for your super chat. The flowers of the springtime. It's raining outside right now.
Mary blooms in the springtime, and she falls in the fall. Mary hibernates in the winter, but then the best season of all comes, and Mary blooms in the spring with lilies and pretty things.
Mary with flowers. Those are flowers, Mary. Okay. All right. So let's get back to what we were talking about, which was what? Any more questions?
People say I sound like Michael Jackson, which, I mean, okay. Is that what I agree?
Anything else?
Let's see. I think
Well,
if you
what's on
haven't
your
yet,
necklace? Nefertiti.
if you haven't, give us a thumbs up, which just means, you know, find your nearest thumb on this video. It could be, if you exit the chat, it could just be on the video. But if you don't mind giving us a little thumbs up, only there was a song that would make you guys do it. Thumbs it up.
Thumbs it up.
Thumbs it up.
Thumbs it up.
Thumbs it up. Thumbs it up.
Okay, so we're getting now to 50 minutes, and I think that is it, right? Does anybody else have anything to say? Anything you want us to talk about, so that we can keep this going? No, the lipstick test is not going to be live. It's going to be a whole separate video, and we're going to split it up. Anything about the topic? Let's see. What else do you guys have to say? 242 people in this room. Somebody has to have some questions. Otherwise, we're going to end it. This has been really fun, and I'm really grateful for you guys to, well, getting confident in the improv singing now, though. Girl, I didn't even think about it. If I can't, yeah, sorry. Question, what's the topic?
Great.
Cynthia, you just got here, girl?
Ever dated a Southern man?
Southern? No. But I imagine that, I don't know, no. I've never.
You haven't even really talked about moths, LOL. Were you supposed to?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I did talk about it in the very beginning. I explained what MAFS is, Married at First Sight, and I explained why I'm having this conversation based on MAFS, and maybe I didn't explain it well enough. So the reason why I wanted to have this conversation about that is because while watching Married at First Sight, I'm starting to see myself in a lot of the cast, because there was a comment made about AJ on a podcast that I was listening to about him being single and have never lived with a significant other. And I thought that was a really, not mean, but a really like sheltered perspective to say that there's something wrong with AJ because he's never lived with a significant other. And I have never lived with a significant other. So is there something wrong with me because of that? That seems crazy.
Oh my
God.
What a beautiful snap. I'm sorry. What is this called? Super chat.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Let me just finish this thought. So that's why I think that. Can you write her name down and like?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's why I think that, because I think that there's a lot of negative flack towards people who have been single, and even to me, Stephanie, and this is weird, but Stephanie saying that she's only been single for a year and then really just wanting to be married is kind of crazy, but but it's fine if that's where she's at in her life. But I just think that there's a lot of judgment on people who have never been in a serious relationship. Am I judging Keith in the same manner? I'm not judging Keith because he's never lived out of his mother's home. I'm judging him because like he's doesn't want a wife. He wants a caretaker, and he like doesn't even have an adult's room, so that's a little bit of a different situation. I'm just talking specifically about people who've been single, who are ashamed or are talked about because they've never been in a relationship, or they haven't lived with somebody or whatever. And I think that when you get around the conversations with Married at First Sight, people tend to make these blanket statements. I have a comment that I got from one of my videos about somebody making a blanket statement about that. And I thought that it was weird. The comment was, I'll refer back to the very beginning when they were interviewing general local population, and I was amazed at the number of singles willing to put themselves through this experiment. What is that saying about today's society? It's so obvious that couples we are following, it's so obvious that the couples we are following, why they have remained single for so long, except for Stephanie and Christine. And I didn't understand that. Like, it's so obvious. Like, what does that mean? Also, like, what do you mean? What does that say? What does that say about today's society? It says that we've evolved past this idea of marriage and whatnot. You know, I'm not saying that marriage is wrong. I'm saying that we've evolved past this. Like, you need to be in a marriage. You need to do this thing, because we don't know like what people's circumstances are. And have all marriages in the past been happy, content marriages? No. So why should people suffer through marriage these days? They don't have to. All right, let's sing for what was her name? In Che.
You said it.
You
said it so beautifully.
In Che you. In Che you are so sweet. We thank you for this treat. We like your face.
We like your style.
We like your name. It's really great for a child. And we thank you for the super chat for giving us today. We want to thank you and chain you. All right. You loved. Take it.
What?
Every time we sing it, you always have to have the last note. Just want you to. Every time I end it, you're like, ba-doop-a-doop-ba-doop-doo at the end. Okay. Oh, let's talk about this. So Chris and I
super chat.
Gina,
will you only be in London or other parts of the UK? Would you date someone outside your culture?
Yes, we will only be in London, and yes, I would date somebody outside my culture. I'm currently dating somebody outside my culture. And so
Gina, but £10.
Write it down. So we're gonna do Gina in a damn
Gina. That's a good super chat.
Damn Gina. We're not going to the laundromat. Hey,
oh, damn Gina.
You gave us a super chat.
Damn Gina. It was like that.
Yeah. All right, and then we got another one from this other person. You watched Love After Lockup. You watched the new Love After Lockup. Yes, I did. Okay, so so Chris and I were just talking, Gina, and then there's this guy.
UGHY, you don't got no alibi. You gave us a snap, or you gave us a super chat. You gave us a super chat. Said YJHY, you don't got no alibi. You gave us that super chat. You gave us that super chat.
Great. So we were talking about this before, and about us being in a relationship. So Chris and I, we talked about it briefly in the beginning of this.
Not us being in a relationship,
but being codependent, being in a codependent relationship with like a friend, and all of the friends that we like dated just because we were in that codependency relationship throughout our 20s. And Jesus Christ. And Chris and I have that relationship, and we talked about it briefly about the fact that when we get into like spats, it's not spats, but when we like have like friction, it's usually because I feel like she's trying to make me the man for the day, and she feels like I'm trying to make her the man for the day. Whereas like I want her to make all the decisions or tell me what she wants. And then for me, I feel like there are times when she's just like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I drove here. What do you mean, what do I want to do? I already did what I wanted to do. I came to LA. So like, there's often times where it feels like, it just feels a little disjointed. And I think that I learned how to co-work with somebody and express my feelings through the relationships that I've had with her. Look at her. She's over here dying because she can't figure out how to pin the thing on it. Like, this is what I have to deal with. Like, she gets so overwhelmed that like all on the menialest tasks. And then this fucking lunatic is like sunk down to the ground.
You guys.
Life is so hard for her.
It is. I gotta get up from where I did this.
I don't know how you're gonna get all the way under the table and everything. Okay, I'm sweating, girl. Thank you for calling it glow. Thank you for, so it's definitely sweat. Anyways, have you dated from the culture? No, I haven't dated anybody from the Griffin culture.
That's a great question. I want you to.
Or
just
the
to see what it's
Afro-Caribbean
like.
men. I have not. I just don't live in an area where there are many of them who are ambitious enough for me. Just gonna be honest with you. Just where I am and where they are. Is Wa annoyed with Chris? I love it that people always try to start shit.
Yeah, why?
Chris is so extra. Cool cootie. No, that's how they are. That's the internet. It's just comedy. Like, we're comfortable enough with each other.
We've known each other for so long. I don't think you guys understand. Like, we're not like friends that met like last week, or this is like,
or even like
for
5
2
years
years.
Ago. We've been like knowing each other
for a long ass time.
I know we've told this story. I remember the exact moment I met her.
This is like 18 years ago or
so long ago.
Like,
so long ago. We've remained friends. When I lived in New York for 6 years, she came and visited me like several times, and we've hung out in snowstorms and like walked through treacherous terrain. We've like done a lot of things together. So like, even if I can't even imagine. We talk about it if we're upset. Like,
we shade each other for fun and stuff like that, but no, we're never mad at each other. So well, yeah. You know, we're never like, and also it'd be like, we're not crazy people. If we actually did get a fight, we probably wouldn't like upload a video where you saw.
Hell yeah, we wouldn't do it on camera.
Yeah.
Hell.
Which we never get in a fight. We don't really get in like fights, you know, like
we have friction and we talk about it.
Yeah. And we wouldn't just be like having it aired.
Yeah, I don't want to not be her friend ever in my life.
Oh yeah,
like we literally, because I'm dating somebody right now. We literally talked about like, what if it got serious? Like, what if he became my boyfriend? What would that mean for our relationship? Like, I literally thought about it. I was like, but I won't be able to see Chris because I would have to go see him instead.
And I was like, you're still giving me 2 days and
I'd have to give him like literally 2 days a month and figure it out and like be like, I need to hang out with Chris, like, because he lives in the same area as his friends, so he'd be able to hang out with his friends all the time. But I live an hour away from her, and I live an hour away from him. And so, and they don't live in the same direction. So like, if I had to visit him, I would take time away from Chris to go visit him. And I just am like, don't want to do that.
Two people asked us what our zodiac signs were. I'm Pisces.
I'm a Libra. Hi ladies, I'm never one to comment, but I truly enjoy both of your comments. Why? Have you ever watched Black Love with Monet from Maps? Oh, you know what? I did. Okay, first of all, I did watch season 1 of Maps. I went backwards and watched it. So I've watched season 1 and season 8, and that's it. Nothing in between. 2, Monet, I knew she was in other things. Like, I knew she was in, I haven't watched it though. I mean, watching Monet in season 1 was really hard to do because there was sometimes that she would yell at what's his name. And I was just like, girl, bring it back. But considering that was the first season, right? So she doesn't know what's being presented on television. And like, it was like 2014. So it was a different vibe when it comes to like, I mean, even though reality TVs have been the hit, but she didn't know this was going to do what it did. I feel like I hope she learned a lot from Maths and moved on to whatever she did and did it well. So to answer your question, no, I haven't watched it.
We should go soon.
Oh yeah, we got to go. We're going to have lunch with her dad. So we're going to have to go. It's 11 now.
Yeah, we got to get ready.
So any last comments? Any last things that people want to say?
Tell us more about your friend, Wa. Well, hi, it's me. I'm Chris.
Friend? Oh, the guy I'm dating?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like me you're talking about. My name is Chris. I've been here for a minute. You can look at other videos that we've done
Greek
together.
for Gamer. This person was on last night too. I want to thank you guys who were on here last night who are here now.
Yeah, that's so sweet. Oh, we love you, Allison. Thank you.
The guy you're dating, Dark and Chocolate.
Oh, okay.
Tell us about him. No. No, we're not. I showed like a little bit of him on Instagram.
She's pride when she wants to be pride.
Yeah, I like can't show you anything in case it doesn't happen. I also am worried about jinxing it. Like I didn't even want to say that I was like in a relationship with him, and Chris forced me to say it.
Claudia, we have Love After Lockup recaps being edited, and they'll be up soon. Okay?
Yeah, you know they happen on Saturdays. You know they happen on Saturdays, girl.
As a South African 30-year-old single woman, I can relate to all of this. Marriage is seen as the ultimate achievement, and until then, I am considered as a child.
Oh, yeah. I think that my family is sometimes disrespectful to me because I don't have kids. Like, they don't understand how old I am because I don't have kids to show them as a marker that I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm from India, and you?
Okay.
Okay, collector's choice. Thanks. Nah, keep it private for as long as you can. Girl, I am. Even if we were to get together, I would definitely still keep it private.
The Aussie version of Mouse is way better than the US
I
version.
know. I watched one clip of the Aussie version, that redheaded lady marrying that shorter, dark-haired man, and I was like crying. And I was like, I want to watch this version, but I'm like, how do I get it? You know, I got to comb the internets for it.
Gosh, we love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all of your like insightful comments and sharing like stuff about you guys that is like vulnerable and in this chat. We really appreciate open discussion. How
do I handle being lonely? I cry. I can't even tell you. Like, sometimes I feel such depth of loneliness because I don't have anybody to help me unburden or take my burdens. Like, I think that's one of the major benefits that I could see, like the wholehearted major benefits that I could see from being in a couple is like being able to talk to somebody about what I am feeling and feeling like it is partly their responsibility to help me hold that burden. And I don't have that at all with anybody. I would never put a lot of my burdens onto Chris. Like, I could talk to her about them, but she has her own shit. And I don't want to put that on her in a way that makes her feel indebted to me or feel like whenever I come over, she's gonna have to manage my emotions. Like, I want that person to do that. So I don't have a remedy for that. I just am sad sometimes.
I eat.
Yeah. Like,
to
really
fill the
sad.
black hole, you know, that can't be filled by food, but it's there nonetheless.
I don't know who B. Smith is. I go grocery shopping to be alone. I love grocery shopping.
I love grocery shopping, girl.
Yeah, I'm sad a lot. So, I mean, that's one thing. And I battle depression too. So it's something that I'm managing, and I can feel. The good thing about it is that when I wake up in the morning, I can feel that I'm in a depression. And that's one of the best things that could have happened to me, because not knowing that you're in the depression and just reacting to because you're so sad, like, is worse. So I'm so happy that I'm now aware of it. And I'm going to get therapy. I signed up to get back into therapy at the end of February, which is something I'm not ashamed of, because, like, girl, like, I would rather be a happy, healthy person and go to therapy than not. Period. I don't want my kids to be affected by my crazy, and I know I'm going to need somebody to help me raise kids. I'm going to need another person to help me raise kids whose job it is to raise them. So that's either a husband or a nanny, like, period.
Collector's choice. We're in America right now. Was garifuna.
Why are you responding to the collector's choice?
Oh.
Let me finish my thought. We're almost done.
All right.
So, yeah. So anyways, that's what's important to me.
Okay, great. I love you guys so much. I'm going to exit the frame and get on with my life. So I also say this. Thank you so much for being here, for listening to me. If you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, I'm at Chris L. Farah. I also have a YouTube page right here. I would love if you guys subscribed. I really need subscribers, and we'll be like video blogging our London trip. So Chris L. Farah on Snapchat, honey. Chris Farah here. I love you. Happy weekend. I'm going to let you say goodbye, okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you guys. So thank you so much. And if you do want to follow us on any of our social medias, she put hers up there. I am Just Call Me Wa. And we want to thank you guys for all of the super chats. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for those of you who did the super chat. This is our super chat wall of fame. You guys are amazing. And that is it. We got to get ready to go. Thank you for joining us. Bye.